Danite Radio.
Welcome to the Counter-Revolution.
Hiya, folks.
How's it going?
Rock Dog here.
Shadow.
I'm Jace.
We're doing another podcast.
Been a minute since our last one.
We're kind of sorry for the bi-weekly, but our podcasts seem to be better when we do it like that. So,
Also,
is that how you say it? Bi-weekly or
every other week? Yeah, I think so.
all
But
right?
I think it's been good because everybody's getting too much
Yeah, getting over
stimulus
about
as it is. Yeah, so
it. Yeah.
maybe we ought to just do the old gratitude cast and the prophets.
I'm not sure. Are we talking about the mask thing? Is that why you think this is going to get heated?
Maybe.
We're going to play that video? I think Jace is going to get so mad at us.
I'd be so angry.
No, I don't think so.
Dude, let's talk about this election first.
Okay, we'll close with a little gratitude.
Oh, do you want to do the whole thing, gratitude? Dang, bro, now I feel bad.
No, I thought we were gonna do gratitude first. Then
I've been
other
posting
stuff.
every day about stuff I'm gratituded for. Do I have to do it on this too?
Hey, he said flood the earth, bro.
So, I still see lots of gloaty leftists on
The internet.
the internet, the World Wide Web. You know?
Surprised.
Shocking.
They're like, well, the Georgia recount's over, so I feel like I can gloat. Guess what just happened? The Trump campaign filed for another recount in Georgia, and they granted it.
Oh boy.
Here's the deal, folks. We got Trump, who was a spoiled rich boy, right?
Sure.
I got my $1 billion when my dad loaned me $1 million. Okay. Then he became a reality star. He's kind of a playboy, went through wives. Became a reality star. Next thing you know, he's running for president. And everyone's kind of like, okay, well, this should be good, And the Republicans actually started the underestimation until he tanked Jeb Bush's campaign with one sentence.
What'd he say?
It was something like low energy Jeb or something, and it was over.
Well,
Jeb was done.
It was also in the primary, he said something along the lines of, like, your family's a bunch of war criminals or something like that.
Sure.
Relating to George.
Sure. So,
And he took 60% of the vote in that caucus, and the rest of the 40 was split between 12 other people with no clear second place.
yeah. And then he slowly and systematically dismantled every campaign in the Republican primary. And yet, for some reason, people like me, I didn't underestimate him, I guess. I just didn't like him. I thought he was just a Democrat. I didn't understand how he would change, which he did. But then he goes up against Hillary Clinton, in which point the entire country's underestimating him. Rumor has it he's underestimating himself, right? Bam! Beats Hillary Clinton, the crowned queen of the presidency. Basically, she was supposed to be the winner. Wham, bam, boom. Much to the chagrin of many and the joy of others, he wins. He beats her. Then he starts tweeting stuff like, oh, this rocket man over in North Korea, And everyone's like, he's going to get us into a war!
A nuclear war!
Ah! I can't believe he calling that! Next thing you know, first president in North Korea.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
I'm going to derail us. I'll talk about that in a minute. Proceed.
Then he's doing the same thing, tweeting about Xi Jinping. Next thing you know, Xi Jinping is there as as crap tucky as they are, which they always are because they have to save face for the party in that country, they did do what he wanted. They rewrote the trade deals, you know?
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, I don't even know where it came from. I didn't know it was even being worked on, but these peace deals come out, you know? Here's what I'm saying to you leftists, because people are starting to realize, people like Cenk, or as I like to call him, Chunk, but Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks, tweeted the other day, "This is a political coup. He's trying to steal the election." So Cenk's realizing, oh, we are counting this guy out, and he's not out yet.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, when are you going to stop underestimating him? What are you doing? He's probably going to win it. He's got 0% chance of winning. Guess what? He's probably going to take it.
That has happened to him before.
He has.
For some reason.
He has a legal means to do it.
I don't think we've talked about that. Should we dive into his legal means of winning the election?
It's kind of a long story, but we can. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Did I send you that video? Do you just want to play it?
No, I can explain it real quick. I think it'll be faster than that video. That video is 8 minutes or something.
So, yeah, we're going to explain it in a second. He does have a legal means to get there. And there is evidence of, and here's the thing. In the propaganda war, the Trump campaign says, we've found evidence of fraud. Okay? He's doing the art of the deal. He's playing the strongest hand he has as hard as he can. So he's saying, look, we have evidence of fraud. When really what he has is evidence of voter impropriety. Lots of inappropriate vote counting going on, lots of inappropriate things happening that could be evidence of fraud, but not proof. But they have proof of impropriety, which is enough for any Trump supporter that if Trump takes this legal means to become president and he can show that proof of vote impropriety to a high enough level, he's got 70 million people that are going to follow him. They're going to hang tight, be like, nah, let's keep him. Let's keep Sleepy Joe out of the presidency and keep him in. And unfortunately for you leftists, we're the armed citizens. What are you going to do about it? And not to mention, we're the guys in the gym every day, you know? We like UFC and jiu-jitsu and karate.
You notice how I didn't say wrestling?
We watch, yeah, wrestlers are a bunch of leftists, dude. I'll tell them all for you so that they can.
Thanks.
That's an inside joke that Jace thinks is so funny. Look, here's what's going to happen. If this legal bid fails and Trump doesn't win, then Republicans recognize they're stuck with Biden for another 4 years. If Trump wins and the media does what the media is going to do, which is talk about how they cheated and how this is a coup, then at the very least, we're going to have Antifa burning this country to the ground again. And at the most, we're going to have Proud Boys out there killing them while they do it. Yeah. And I can't promise you I won't be out there with the Proud Boys shooting Antifa pansies, or at least punching them in the head. We're dangerously close to a civil war here. When you start identifying with one side or the other, and you start realizing, oh yeah, I could commit violence in this. But dude, I've been on that bandwagon for a while now. Like, if I ever see a self-proclaimed Antifa member, it will be exceedingly difficult for me not to commit violence against that person.
Yeah. I don't know. Part of the problem with the Civil War, though, is you kind of need geographical divisions.
No. for a traditional American civil war, but that's not how civil wars work. That's not how the Civil War in Egypt went. That's not how the Civil War in Syria went.
That's fair.
They were all right on top of each other. The geographical lines are drawn when one side takes one thing, you know?
Sure, that's true.
The whole reason the Civil War in America was like that is because it was about states' rights. There were certain states that feel it was partially about states' rights. There were certain states that felt like they were being trampled on by the federal government, and they were like, no, we're not having this. We're going to send our militias to an army, and we're going to fight for our rights.
Well, and just generally speaking,
what they
there
perceived
were
as their
more
rights.
Slaves in the South. Their economy was more dependent on it, and that because of the nature of imports and exports and all that good stuff. So 100%. That's true. That's fair. He might pull it off. I would not count him out.
I know. That's what I don't understand about like, oh, everyone acts like he's such an idiot for doing what he's doing. It's like, really? You don't know by now he's probably got something, you know? There's something up his sleeve that he's probably going to pull this off. That's what he does. He pulls these long shots.
Yeah.
It's weird to me. And they were like, oh, he's so stupid. I can't believe he'd even try this. He's not that stupid.
No, he's certainly not.
He's certainly not going to give up.
Can I get into the North Korea thing real quick?
Yeah, I thought you wanted to do the legal.
We'll do that after.
Right.
I don't want to forget this. I was watching, I think it was a Trevor Noah video. Yeah. You'll love this.
Wait, which one's North Korea again? Just kidding. Continue.
What? And it was listing 100 scandals of President Trump in office.
Oh, yeah, because Trevor Noah is so dope. Anyways, continue.
And on the list, the first, early in the list was him calling Kim Jong-un Rocket Man.
Yeah.
And then later in the list, it was him meeting with Rocket Man in North Korea and legitimizing him. And I'm like, what do you want, people? What are you looking for here? You want him to, like, just ignore him? Is that the method? Real interesting that legitimizing North Korea as a country is out, but also insulting their leader, also out. I guess those opposite behaviors don't contradict enough in the...
Dude, how long does your family have to be an absolute terror of a regime in a country before you kind of just have to accept that they're the... You know, you have to start working against them rather than just, oh, don't look over there. Then they won't think that they're...
They don't exist.
Yeah.
You don't meet with them.
What? He legitimized them. They've been in power for 100 years now, haven't they? Not 100. What, 80 though, right?
I think the current leader
Has
is
been
the
since
fourth
World War
one.
II?
Yeah.
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 It's his sister now. It's not him anymore.
It is?
Apparently he's in a coma.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Sister's a snake in the grass, huh?
Apparently.
She poisoned him.
So she'll be the fifth Kim Jong in power, though.
Sure.
So there's something to be said for that.
Mm-hmm.
At what point do you be like, well, they're here to stay, and we don't really want to end communism in that country for them, so...
I think most people are just holding out that Dennis Rodman will get elected as president still. In North Korea, that is.
For sure. I'm still waiting for Kanye's recount.
I know. What's up with that? He didn't even win a state. Can't believe it.
I think he won Nevada, bro. That's why they're not counting. They're ashamed to tell the world.
That's why they only counted 80%.
They're like, Kanye, really? Again?
The hell? Trump's like, I want a recount. They're like, gladly. This has to be different.
All right, bro. Do you want to tell the legal means that
Trump's
legal path to victory?
Yeah, so I think it's the 12th Amendment states that in the case of a
corrupted election
or fraudulent in any way, the election goes to the House of Representatives, which at first sounds a little bit alarming because the House is strongly controlled by Democrats. Less so after the election, but it's still controlled by the Democratic Party. However, it goes to a vote based on state, and
each state gets one vote.
Yeah, each state gets one vote, and 32 of those states are controlled by the Republican Party. So if it does go to that, there's a fairly good chance that Trump will win an election via the House of Representatives. And so if he can get it there, it's a legal way for him to win the election. And it's as if the election by the people has, or the general election has not happened. It goes away as if it never happened. And the House of Representatives decides the next president. Not only is it legal and constitutional, it has happened before. It's happened twice. In 1800 and 1824 was what that video said. So there's legal means, there's constitutional means, and there's precedence for it. It's not a far cry to say it could happen again.
Sure. And all you Democrats being like, just give up, just give up. Why don't you just give up? We'll keep our outsider in who's doing a lot of your agenda in the White House, and then you guys can run an outsider next time. That's going to do a lot.
Run Tulsi Gabbard, I'm begging you!
Or like just anyone but Kamala Harris, dude. That chick is a freaking Stalin waiting to happen, dude. It's terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
But, all right. So, that's all I have to say about the election. You guys want to hear a dope story?
Oh, yeah.
Desperately.
So, I went into Griffles in Spanish Fork.
What's Griffles?
Plasma.
Donation Center. Medical facility. So, you walk in, right? You walk in the door. They take your temperature. They ask you your name. You walk. You do some questions on this computer screen. You go sit down. They call you up. They do your blood pressure, check your blood, like your hematocrit and your midichlorians and stuff, you know?
Sure. Jace doesn't get it, but I get it.
And,
it's a Star Wars reference.
And
he's a nurse.
So when you go up to the counter where they check your midichlorians, they're like, pull your mask down. You pull your mask down. You give them your name, last four of your social. They have to know who it is. And then you can put your mask back up. They always say it like that. Oh, you can put that back up. Like I give a crap. I never do. At that point, I'm done. Right? Because then you go, after you get done with that, you go around the corner. You go back to this other desk. And they say, pull your mask down. We need your name and your social. Right? They have to make sure it's you. So you pull your mask down. So then I walk, I go in, I do all that. I walk back to my seat, through the whole place with my mask down, escorted by an employee of Griffles. Sit in my seat, and they stick me with a needle. I start donating plasma. I donate plasma mostly to date my wife because it's like they pay you to take your wife out.
Nice.
But
good. That's good behavior.
I don't anymore because of this story. Then some.
He doesn't date his wife. He still donates plasma.
Some. All right. I won't go ad hom. A gentleman walks back to me, looks me in the eyes and says, "You need to pull your mask up." To which I say, "Okay." But then as I look up at him, I say, "Okay," and then raise my mask. You guys can't see that through the microphone. I look at him, and he's got this mask, and out the sides, a huge, nasty beard. Like, down to here,
Down to his nipple.
I'm like, that's, you think that mask is sealed, bro? Like, you're not catching anything in that nasty old beard and dropping it off in other places, Not to mention, like, the moisture collecting on that beard. Just didn't seem sanitary to me. Didn't seem like that beard was doing him any good. Or the mask was doing him any good with the beard. Not to mention, neither was the mask that I was wearing because it was a bandana. Okay? So, any thoughts on that, Jace? Is there...
I'm pulling up a picture I think you'll enjoy.
So, I you know, I go my 45 minutes or whatever to get my plasma drawn, and then the guy comes to pull the needle out. A guy who I thought was my friend. You know, we dealt with each other before. I was like, you know, it's kind of bullcrap when that guy with that nasty beard comes and tells me to pull my mask up, when that mask surely is not doing him any good, and this one's not doing me any good, you know. And he seemed a little perturbed. And I was like, oh well, you know. So he takes it out. I go home. Well, I go back. I think that was on a Saturday. I go back on a Wednesday. And I go to sign on to the computer to do my questions, and it won't let me sign on. Oh, that's weird, you know? So I go talk to the people. They're like, oh, yeah, you got to talk to this nurse in this back room, which is like the back room where they take you to tell you that your blood test showed that you have AIDS or something, you know?
Turns out Rocky's gay. You never knew.
I'm going to let that one sit. All right. So.
I deserve that. I do deserve that.
It wasn't towards you. So, I was like, so the guy comes in, he's like, so I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with this, but this says they red flagged you for bad behavior and not wearing your mask. Which, first of all, I exhibited no bad behavior. I jokingly told this fella about the kid with the beard. And when the guy with the beard came and said, will you pull your mask up? I went, pulled my mask up. You know? Not to mention, they made me pull my mask down twice through the thing, and then an employee walked me to my seat without my mask on. What are we doing? My freaking cloth mask, which every expert on the planet says doesn't do any good. It's like 2%. I don't care what party they're in, they say they don't do any good. But for some reason, we let people wear cloth masks because you have to fit into the herd in order to be part of the herd. The flock, I should say. You have to fit into the flock in order to be part of the flock. What are we doing? How is that not just fascism? You know, I mean, that's basically call the Nazis your neighbor's a Jew, right? I mean, I don't. What? Which is fine, because I was thinking that time before, like, after an hour and a half of work, I mean, towards the end of the month, the scale goes up. Towards the end of the month, you get more for every time you do it. You end up with like $50, but even that's only like $25 an hour. And at the beginning of the month, for like the first 4 donations, you're making like, you know, under $12 an hour, you know, for how long you're there. So I was like, this isn't worth it, you know. There's other stuff I'd rather do. I do like hanging out with my wife, but I was like, I didn't even go in when they told me that. They said I could go back and donate. I was like, nah, you know, I ain't doing it.
Yeah.
I went and got some shopping done and stuff, but it's like, what are we doing? It doesn't make any sense. Can you think of any medical reason why my mask being down at that point is affecting anything that hasn't already been affected?
So, I'll show you this picture. It's released by the CDC. Mm-hmm. It shows approved facial hair for mask wearing. That came out right as the first, like, it's been out forever, but, like, they pushed it with the first lockdown thing. If you have any facial hair where the mask sits, mm-hmm. the mask is pointless.
Let's see it.
By their definition.
Would you look at that? And I knew I had a case for it. You know, I was like, I could just go talk to that guy's manager. You know? And
he's in
like,
violation of CDC.
Like, this is his actual livelihood. I could do the same thing. You know, I could call the health department and tell them they got all this facial hair coming out the side of there. But I didn't, you know. Of course, that's my natural reaction. That's what people do. But I didn't. You know,
because you're not a stoolie.
Whatever, bro. You know, whatever you got to do. If you got to, and at a certain point, it's like, God, you got to fight them at their own game. You know, but you know, at what point do you start when your neighbor starts calling the Nazis? Do you start spray painting their windows black or something? You know, I mean, there's got to be something you can do to resist these people, but I just let it go. We're not to that point yet, Actually, my first instinct was to wait for the guy to get off and beat the shit out of him in the parking lot. But I didn't do that either.
Right. Well,
that's his instinct with literally everything.
Yeah,
he
that's
does.
a bad instinct that I have.
It's like, oh, you did that wrong? Let me beat you up, and then I'll explain why you're wrong.
Yeah.
Walmart lady dropped my change.
Yeah.
Ooh, welcome to working with Rocky, folks.
I struggle, and I've gone on. I know I need help. I've gone to counseling about this, and my counselors have even been like, "That's a weird reaction that you have to people telling you what to do." I'm like, "Any advice?" No. Like, oh, okay. Well, thanks for pointing that out.
Rocky, the more accurate that is.
They're like, everyone's like, I've had 2 counselors be like, "That's really how you reacted?" That's how I reacted. Don't tell me what to do.
So they're like, "Oh, I'll never do that. I'll never tell you what to do there, big boy."
So that's a good nature to have when you're resisting tyranny, but a horrible nature to have to, make friends, keep friends, have business relationships.
Keep people listening
go,
to your podcast.
Go donate plasma.
The mean mustached man.
There's a reason he works construction.
Yeah. So
because those guys tend to think the same way.
Yeah. So, and then there's the expert. I don't know if you want to play it. It's 4 minutes. We could play it into the microphone if you wanted, but there's an expert, the guy who owns, one of the companies that sells the coronavirus test is a virologist. He's got tons of credentials. So
we're talking medical school at Cambridge. He's been on a bunch of medical review boards in different countries.
If you want to hear his testimony in front of the Canadian, is it the House of Commons that they have up there?
Seems like
anyways, their version of the Senate or whatever.
I think it's a provincial.
It might be. Oh yeah, a provincial one.
Provincial House of Commons. So in that province.
So, he sells the tests and he says, "Look, all we're doing, I sell these tests. I'm getting rich off these tests. All we're doing by testing the entire population is causing panic. We should only be testing people who have symptoms and are in a hospital. These masks aren't doing anyone any good. Not to mention, we're all wearing masks to protect ourselves from a disease that's barely worse than the common flu. We should be treating this as a bad flu year, protecting the elderly, and moving on with our lives." If you want to hear this, if you want to hear his credentials and all that good stuff, I have a 4-minute video. You can contact me on any social media.
I will post a link in the description of our video.
There we go.
As well as on Instagram. Rocky will put it on Facebook.
Yeah. So, message me. I'll send it to you. Whatever. But the guy's legit.
Highly qualified.
We look like asses. I mean, they're gonna look back in history. They look back at the guys in World War II and World War I. The guys in World War I, died in trenches. In certain places they walked off the boards that were laid out in camp, and they sank to the mud neck deep and had just died of starvation because no one had the heart to shoot them. And then World War II, they had these amazing guns that could shoot 3 miles, and they just were killing everybody. And even Korea, and Vietnam, the men back then were, killers and had senses of honor and weren't scared of anything. And if they were, they sure as crap didn't show it. And now we've got a bunch of men in beards with huge, ugly-ass beards telling other grown men, "Put your mask on. I don't want to catch this flu. I don't want to catch the cold. Put your mask on that doesn't work. I don't want to catch this cold." In history's eyes, we are the biggest pansies to ever live, bro. Ever live.
I'm so glad you said that.
And not to mention in Canada, they're building facilities where they can take people who won't wear their masks, who won't get the vaccine, who travel from other countries, they can put them in these facilities. You know, force them to stay in these facilities, which always turns out super well, you know, when they start locking people in these
facilities,
medical facilities, medical air quotes facilities.
Yeah.
You know?
I wonder if they've got
you won't
gas chamber
yeah.
at that medical facility.
Oh, you won't conform to
They
the
probably
flock
don't,
here?
but
Do you see how this flock has this certain spot on their face? You better get that spot on your face or you're going to this medical facility. What are we doing? What are we doing? We're not even protecting anyone. What are we doing? What are we doing? This is stupid. This is so stupid. We look like weaklings.
Okay.
Weaklings.
Okay, I got something to share. You will love this. Speaking of the historically we look great.
I can't wait.
This was posted by somebody I greatly respect on Facebook. Tons of respect for. Very smart, well thought out individual. I'm not going to share their name because I respect them. Moses taught the house of Israel to put forth enough effort to look upon the brass serpent and they would be healed. It doesn't take much more effort for each of us to wear a mask. Doing so won't heal us, but will certainly help us and others from contracting the virus. Since it doesn't take all that much effort, rather than protesting or hitting our heads against the wall while we scream, freedom, in quotation marks, let's just do it. Do not read that name over the air. You can look at who it is, but you got to press the home button.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know who that is.
Go figure.
Dang, bro.
Here's what
wow,
needs to be
that's
said.
brutal.
First off, the brass serpent was a guaranteed miracle cure for the plague that was decimating the Israelites. Coronavirus has been pretty bad, admittedly so. I think it's still at 200,000 deaths, or is it more?
Dude, I mean, it's killed like 2% of the people that have gotten it. So, yeah, you're right.
It's still a very deadly virus.
And most of them are like young, vibrant, young people, you know?
Regardless, it has killed people.
Nobody
Masks
that didn't
are not a
deserve dying.
miracle.
All right.
Masks are not a miracle cure. They don't guarantee you won't get it. In fact, there's some studies that show that you're more likely to get it wearing a mask, depending on who you're listening to.
We're just under 260,000 deaths.
Yeah.
In America.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they said we'll hit 300 by spring or something, or 350 or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue. But the way they count it, I mean, 350,000 people who already have two illnesses to begin with. Anyways, continue.
At what point does, let's take, for example, nobody was going out and holding the Israelites' eyes open and making them look.
That's true.
And sure, they were prideful and arrogant and looked away on purpose, but that is the nature of the plan. That is the nature of agency, and I'm glad that some of the Israelites did that. It teaches an important lesson. At some point, we need to recognize that freedom is more important than safety, and it always will be.
Yeah. The science wasn't out on the snake. Do you have more?
No, please go ahead.
The science wasn't out on the snake. People looked, they got healed. Right?
Yes.
There's no correlation between states with mask mandates and lesser cases. There's no correlation to prove anything that these masks have been helping anything. Yeah. Also, Moses, the prophet of God, told people, hey, look at this snake, you'll be healed, right? Notice that the prophet's been incredibly careful not to say anything like, hey, wear these masks. And people who claim to be proxies for him do say that. But he, the prophet himself, a medical doctor and prophet of God, more importantly, hasn't said a thing about, hey, wear these masks. And if the church has come out and said, hey, wear these masks, it's about, let's just be good citizens.
Yeah.
It's not, hey, wear this mask, you'll be healed. Definitely not.
I have yet to hear that from the prophet.
The prophet's been incredibly careful not to say anything like that. And I don't think he said anything like, hey, wear these masks for a good global citizenship. They just said we're closing the temples to be good global citizens and stopping going to church.
Yeah.
But people closer to being proxies for the prophet than the people who claim to be and are telling you to wear masks, people say apostles have said things like, look what coronavirus has taught us. Look how fragile the right to religion really is.
So let's talk about this, because I've heard this comparison before, that wearing the mask is like the Moses and the brass serpent.
Boy, people draw lines through, squiggly lines through things.
Always taught by the people who are also saying that...
You're preaching at this point, bro. Your buddy there is preaching. You're a preacher, bro.
Work with me. Always taught by the same people who are saying, Mike Lee comparing Trump to Captain Moroni is a problem. That is the exact same pandering, people.
It is the exact same pandering. You're doing the same thing.
Like it or hate it, it's the exact same thing. It is pandering and fear-mongering.
The difference is Mike Lee is way more accurate than you are.
Sorry for that. That probably hurt your ears.
No, so here's the thing. You are comparing Governor Herbert. We'll make it about this state that we live in. Sorry for those of you who don't live in Utah. You are comparing Governor Herbert to the prophet Moses.
Yep.
Moses, a man of God, who who was an instrument in creating a way to heal the children of Israel from this plague. To Governor Herbert, a man who isn't actually listening to any medical research, has no idea what's going on, to the point that I have talked to medical doctors who said, I don't know where he's getting his research. The things he's saying are completely unfounded. Like, the overcrowding of hospitals in the state of Utah is pretty much not happening. It's happening to an extent, but not really. You're comparing him to Moses, the prophet of God. And I don't remember Moses sending out a bunch of jackboots to charge you $10,000 for not looking at the brass serpent. I don't remember Moses ordering the Israelites to stay home so that they didn't get bit by the snakes. I don't remember...
Hey, don't do Passover because this plague's going on. There were no orders like that.
There are ways to get through this virus that have been tested, and they work. The country of Sweden, one of the freest and most prosperous in the world, done great things. Mm-hmm. They've a lot of cases, high cases, very low death rate, because they quarantine people who are at risk of dying, and that's all. That's it. That's all it takes to get through this.
So
we could be doing that.
Yeah,
it's time.
Let's chat about old Gary.
Oh, this would be dope.
Mr. Herbert. I heard on a radio show, I couldn't find evidence for or against it. But I have heard anecdotal evidence for it. So if you want to do the research and tell me I'm wrong, I will gladly admit that I'm wrong. But I tend to doubt it. The stat I heard was Utah hospitals are at 52% of capacity.
I don't know.
Jace doesn't know. Our resident hospital expert doesn't know.
When I go to the hospital, it doesn't seem very busy.
You're my favorite kind of expert, Jace. Willing to say, I don't know. That's a good expert. Anyways.
Never change, Jason. Never change.
Anyways.
Just learn more.
So, if that number is true, which I think it is, the person who said it, I trust. The anecdotal evidence I've heard, I trust. If you want to look it up and prove me wrong, by all means, I will say on the next podcast I was wrong. Put it in the comments. 52% of capacity, which is like 8% less than we are used to this time of year. We're actually at a lower capacity than we usually have. If that number is true, everyone's Moses, the governor of Utah, stood in front of Utahns and lied his ass off to you.
Well, sat in front of them in an office
to get
that
you
we paid for.
To be scared enough to not celebrate Thanksgiving with your families, which, fortunately for me, my family
We are
is not scared of anything.
freedom-loving people.
And we are having Thanksgiving. And if the cops want to come over, they can either join us for turkey or haul us to jail, but we are not doing Thanksgiving. My wife's side of the family, however, canceled Thanksgiving. So, there we have it. Look, he got up and he lied. He lied to you. 100% the man lied to your face in order to scare you into doing his will, his bidding. That's what tyrants do. Not only that, but there was a time when the Utah Senate and House of Representatives passed a bill that said we should become a constitutional carry state. You shouldn't have to have a permit from the government to carry your weapon concealed. And Gary Herbert, and the story they used to get that passed was there was a cowboy riding through the woods who had his weapon on his hip, not concealed. He put on his jacket because it started to rain. The cops pulled him over, noticed the gun in the jacket, wrote him, and put him in jail for carrying a concealed weapon. Well, Gary, through his vast resources, discovered that this story was false and untrue. Therefore, he didn't sign it into law. So Gary Herbert expects people to treat him with integrity and to not be lied to, and then he turns around and lies to you, and you just do whatever he tells you to do. The man's a liar. Guess what? I'm a liar too. I've been a liar before. I still go to church. I'm still a Latter-day Saint. But that doesn't mean don't verify what I'm saying. That doesn't mean anything I tell you is gold and that you should go do it. I told you to go do the research on what I'm saying right now.
By all means. We would
By
love that.
all means.
The entire point of this is that we're all learning together.
So let's talk about this. Here's the thing. There are still government grants for hospitals that are at capacity. There are still government grants for coronavirus cases, and there are still government grants for nurse shortages. So if Provo Hospital has to hire traveling nurses at $100 an hour, they get not only do they get compensation for the nurses, but they probably get a little extra on top. So what are they doing?
Make money, folks.
So what are they doing?
Hospitals make money.
What are they doing? They're laying off the nurses, the local nurses that get $30 an hour, hiring the traveling nurses that get $100 an hour because the federal government will. And then they're saying they have a nurse shortage. They're fudging the numbers so that they can look like they're at capacity. I've been working at the Provo Hospital for, going on 3 or 4 weeks. There's zero traffic in that place. There is nobody there. They built 2 new towers. I'm pretty sure they're both empty. They tore down like half the hospital, replaced it with 2 new towers. I can't see anybody in those towers.
I haven't seen anybody either.
Not a person. Not a person.
There's something to be said.
I
about
went,
folks.
I walked through on Friday, went to the cafeteria, saw one cute little baby with a feeding tube.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, it was a cute baby. But there's not a bunch of people walking in and out of there. What are we talking about? There's not nurses running from station to station. There's not doctors running from station to station. It looks empty as heck to me, and I've been in that hospital with patients. My kids have been sick. I've been in that hospital. I've never seen it this dead. And maybe that's coronavirus restrictions, but I doubt it because me, a dirty construction worker, walked right through the front door and went into the cafeteria to eat food.
Probably without a mask.
They're just letting people in. No, they made me wear a mask, but
Okay.
I don't get it. What are we doing?
So, we gave you some anecdotal evidence that were statistics that may or may not be true. Again, fact check us by all means. But we also gave you some experiential evidence, which is, in our experience, the Provo Hospital is empty. That's just one hospital in this state.
The biggest
it's
hospital
empty.
in Utah County, it would be the most busy, the most capable hospital in Utah County. It would be the most busy. Not to mention, let's say the 52% number is wrong. Guess what? If they're not at 110%, your boy lied to you. Your boy lied to you. He said our hospitals are being overrun. He lied to you. And you're just doing his bidding like a little sheep. Bah! Wear this mask. We did, on my side, we did get uninvited to a Thanksgiving dinner because they're scared of COVID, which is fine. But it's a sheep move. We're scared of nothing. We're scared of nothing. Plus, if our grandma dies of COVID, there's a bunch of people who can honestly say they didn't give it to her because she won't see them on Thanksgiving. So if grandma dies of COVID after Thanksgiving, I'm blaming you. You know who you are. I'm blaming you.
Oh, what the heck, dude?
And with that, we'll see you next week.
For sure.
Maybe. Dang. That's important, people. You have to realize, like, there are some people that should cancel Thanksgiving dinners because they want to protect their at-risk family members. That it should be
Your
a
choice.
personal choice. The governor should be not be mandating that we cancel our Thanksgiving. That is wrong. And it's not just because I love Thanksgiving. That's also true, but that's not why. It is a deeply personal sense of desire to be free. I desire to be free. And we are allowing that to be chipped away at. We're allowing our freedoms to be taken from us one little bit at a time. And I get it. Wearing a mask is not that big of a deal. It is not that hard to put a mask on. I get that. But that's how it always starts. Something little.
Here's
Just
the thing.
chipping away at your freedoms. One little thing at a time. As soon as we start complying with that, what's next? What are they going to have us do next? Start turning in your Muslim neighbors? Start turning in your Jewish neighbors?
Your conservative neighbors.
It's a slippery slope.
Look, here's the thing about the masks. I don't wear masks as often as possible. I won't wear them into Walmart because they're not stopping. They don't throw you out. I don't go to Walmart if I can help it. So I go anywhere that doesn't make you wear masks. But every time I walk into Walmart, there's an old man or an old woman at the door like, "Where's your mask?" And I just walk by, wagging my finger. No, I ain't wearing no mask. But sometimes it gets to the
At least
point.
you make it super douchey, man.
It gets to the point where I'm like, dude, maybe I should just wear a mask, make people feel comfortable. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? And then Beardy McDoucheface at Griffles pulls a douche move on me, and I'm like, nope, I'm never wearing a mask again. You're not winning the hearts and minds by shaming people. Or my wife goes to Walmart and an old man shakes his head at her when she doesn't have her mask on. You are not winning the hearts and minds. I will not wear a mask for you people. Thank you for the weekly, sometimes bi-weekly reminders of why I'm not wearing a mask. Okay? I will not be forced to conform.
You should see it at the prison,
It's not in my nature. Are they making them wear masks again?
They
They're
started
getting
again.
brutal.
They started throwing people off, dude.
Brutal, dude.
They started throwing people off.
Brutal. That's the worst part, too. Like,
Guess when I'm allowed to not wear a mask?
when?
Anytime my welding hood is down and I'm welding, when the mask will
Yeah, when
keep
you're
the
bringing
weld smoke out of,
poison fumes.
out of my lungs.
Here's the thing. I'm welding galvanized at the hospital, I'm sitting there wearing my mask, and all these people are like, not all these people, but like a teeny trickle of people walk through the halls of the hospital. They see me, and they look out, and I'm like, great, they all think I'm scared of COVID out here being a pansy, when really I just don't want to die of zinc poisoning. So, yeah.
Good. That's happening.
Those
It's
3 people I'll
embarrassing.
never see again might think this about me.
For real, dude. It's like
Oh, if you didn't know that Rocky cares
It's like-
deeply about what people think,
it's like,
you don't
all
know
right.
at all.
all right. Before, people would realize, oh, that welding smoke must be pretty bad if he's wearing a mask for it. Now it's like, oh, he's scared of COVID out there alone in the parking lot with nobody around him. So everyone thinks I'm a sheep. I'm not. I'm a goat.
Don't let him fool you.
I'm a goat.
Yeah.
I think religiously you kind of want to be a sheep, but
Yeah. But
here we are.
acronymically, you want to be a goat.
The greatest of all time.
Greatest of all time. That's a word, right? Acronymically.
I like it.
Sure is.
Shut up, Shadow.
One of us has graduated college. I said I liked it.
Hey, dude.
Sick burn, Jace.
Got me, bro. Rocky says as he's never graduated college.
I went to trade school, you bastard. Did lots of not writing there.
Come on, people. Wake up.
Wake up. Or don't. Because I noticed that. Oh, one more thing. We love.
Wait, there's more.
We love the thumbs down on our videos. But if you don't get on the comments and explain why, you're not a man.
Or at least tell us who you are.
You're a woman. You don't even have to tell us who you are. Get on. Make a fake YouTube account. Get on.
Freak, make
Tell
20
us
of
why
them
we're
and dislike
on.
it 20 times.
But
We
your
don't care.
thumbs down just shows, your thumbs down without a comment and argument just shows that you don't have any facts to argue with.
You just don't like us for our personality.
I set you up in this episode. I set you up. I stated an arbitrary statistic that I just heard from a radio host. You could easily find and possibly disprove. Go ahead. Put your thumbs down and then show me where my statistic is wrong. But if your statistic doesn't say 105% capacity in the Utah hospitals, you've been lied to.
He still lied to you.
You've been hoodwinked. So, there we go, folks.
Let's,
Appreciate you. Thanks for listening. Oh, and I will not be blaming anyone if Grandma dies of COVID. I was just kidding.
But it wasn't me.
But we know for sure it wasn't us.
Oh, you want to take a few minutes to be grateful?
Oh, yeah, gratitude. Sure.
Hashtag give thanks.
Sure. Give thanks. Hashtag give thanks.
You wanna
Me
start us
first?
off?
Sure.
You're kind of in charge of this episode.
No, I
it seems
want
like.
to start off. I'm thankful for the choice to wear a mask.
Oh, wow.
High
You're
five.
snooty with it.
There you go, Rocky.
Pinky's out to Jace.
Here's-
yes, I'm grateful for the choice to wear a mask.
Here's the other thing. I can't grow facial hair that goes outside of the mask.
But man,
So
if
I
you
had-
could.
I had a beard going on. Dude, that thing itched the crap out of me when I wore a mask, dude. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah, I believe that.
Anyways, all right. So,
I'm glad you shaved. I'm grateful that Rocky shaved.
I'm grateful both of you shaved.
Fair point. I lasted much less time than Rocky did.
yeah, November.
Also, his is way better than
No
me.
shave November, you can go to hell.
Mine's like no shave, no first 14 days of November.
Yeah, I think I
Always?
shaved on the 14th too.
It's about that time again.
So, as I've posted on many an Instagram or many a Facebook post, I am grateful for my family. My kids are amazing. My wife is awesome. I am grateful for.
I'm grateful for your family too, man.
Nice. I'm grateful
They're dope.
for a living prophet to give us a mandate and to be, or not a mandate, but to. This is a brilliant idea, truly an inspired idea. I believe the gratitude on social media.
Oh, it's been good for me, bro.
Yeah.
It's been good for my brain. My
For
feed
sure.
is just full of people grateful for stuff. That's
Sure,
good
sure.
for my brain for sure.
Sure.
People that are grateful stuff and bow hunters.
And even though, like, I've never had a living prophet that I've actually had to work to honor, like I've had to work with this guy, with President Nelson, I am super grateful for him. And this is just reaffirmed my testimony that this is the prophet that we need right now. I'm also grateful for stretching. Just kidding.
Back hurts.
I'm also grateful for
I just live too heavy.
the ease in which we live our lives in this country, and this day and age. I mean, never has anyone had it so easy. Indoor plumbing, indoor electricity, clean burning heaters, refrigerators, microwaves,
Grocery stores.
spices. I'm grateful for all these things. We have such a plethora of food to eat that it's actually bad for us, you know. We'll get to heaven one day and be like, what killed you? Oh, I overate until my heart exploded. And people will look at us like, really?
That was real.
Yeah.
You
So-
must be a king.
Yeah. No, just a janitor. So
Not even a good one.
I make kids clean up their own puke.
I didn't move very fast because of all the eating.
So I'm super grateful for that. I'm grateful for temples, and above all, I'm grateful for the Savior and his atoning sacrifice. Without that, we actually went to an awesome live nativity yesterday. Did you make it over?
No, I didn't.
So cool, dude. Like, it was powerful.
I guess
It
the
brought
missionaries in Payson show up. Huh?
It brought a heavy spirit. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I think it's like because there's like 2 male missionaries and 4 females. I think the females kind of run the show. So they brought it hard. So
I'll be the first to criticize the sister missionary, bro, about when they're good, they're good.
yeah, so
They're firecrackers for sure.
So, and I also think that there must still be restrictions on tracting or
Yeah.
going to members'
Yeah.
homes because
Yeah.
they seem to be bored and extra spiritual in Payson.
Yeah, it's pretty tough, I think.
So I am super grateful for the necessary and loving atonement of the Savior, and I assure you, of all the people listening, I'm probably the most flawed and the most in need of that atonement, and I'm super grateful for it. I hope that everyone gets the opportunity to partake in that. So, how about you, Shadow? What you grateful for, bro?
Well, I don't know. As you go on in your life, you do this a lot. Say things you're grateful for around Thanksgiving time. I always like to start with 2 things. I'm grateful for peanut butter, and I'm grateful for woolen socks.
Nice.
Love myself a nice pair of comfy socks.
Yeah. Another thing that makes our life super easy.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So warm. Freak, I don't even need them that bad. I stay inside most of the time. And I'm super grateful for peanut butter because there is no food more simple and no food more easy to access and no food that makes other food so much better. It doesn't matter what you add it to. It seems like peanut butter makes
Tabasco.
things amazing. Oh, that's true. Tabasco is amazing too. But
No, you guys are just wrong.
oh, what?
Any other hot sauce, anything else.
Don't get.
Why
dude,
are you here, bro?
Chalula.
Why,
Don't get.
why do we even have this guy?
Oh my
Bro.
gosh, you're gonna
He
get
shows
ate
up-
up at dinner
He
tonight.
shows up
dude.
whenever he
Sriracha.
wants.
Listen, I run this. It's time you learn.
Get out of here, dude.
I do what I want.
I run this snitch. But yeah, I'm grateful for peanut butter. A lot of places they don't have it. Like, it's a blessing, it's a boon, and we can get it anytime, any place.
I got 2 jars in my house.
Yeah.
Only 2? Oh, I have 6 kids.
Yeah. And I'd be dead if it wasn't for peanut butter. I ate peanut butter sandwiches every day of my life for the last 15 years.
Nice.
So in a roundabout way, Shadow's thankful for being poor.
I am poor. That's true. But even when I lived with my parents, I ate them every day.
Nice.
So
Good for you.
they kept me alive for sure. And then I got a great family, man. They take good care of me.
We do have an
Them's
awesome
good people.
family. I am grateful for them.
I wouldn't trust anybody to tell me honestly when I'm goofing up in my life, and I wouldn't trust anybody else to help me hide a dead body. And those are 2 extremes you can't find in a lot of people, and
Nope.
they're the ones for it.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for the Savior. I'm grateful for the gospel. They are life-changing. They will make your life full of joy and full of contentment and completely fulfilled. And I'm grateful for that. And I am super duper grateful for the people in my life that encourage me to be better every day. And there's a lot of them, not just my family members. I got great friends, good people that are in my life, and I'm grateful for the job. I think that's the last thing. I've been thinking a lot about that. I've been working on a pretty crappy job up at the prison. It's going real poor, and I don't really like it up there, but I've been busy. Ever since the pandemic started and people have been losing a lot of work, businesses have been closing down, we've been nothing but busy, and that is truly a blessing and a miracle.
For sure.
I've been to work every day. I fight with my boss about wearing a mask very frequently, but
Not this guy.
not Rocky, the general contractors. But I'm grateful to have a job. It is great to be working. It's great to be having income, and I'm super grateful for that. It's a blessing and a miracle.
Awesome.
That's all for me, Jace. You good?
I'm good. I'm satisfied.
He's grateful out.
He's all gratituded up.
Hashtag give thanks, folks.
Yeah.
Keep that up.
For sure. It's been awesome. Been great to read.
It's warming my heart, so.
For sure.
Anything else this week, boys? Anything else eating at your heart and soul?
Nope. I think I'm good.
Alrighty, folks. Y'all have a great week, and God bless, and don't wear a mask. They're stupid.
Do what you want.
Do what you want.
Yeah. Do whatever you want.